Listen and repeat series. Some quantitative adjectives and adverbs. I need some tape. I need some tape for my tape recorder. How much tape do you need? We want some records. How many records do you want? This camera is very cheap. How much does it cost? It doesn't cost much. It only costs $50. That record player is very expensive. How many dollars does it cost? It costs $250. An old car goes very slowly. It's slow. A racing car goes very fast. It's fast. How fast do modern planes go? They go 900 kilometers per hour. How high do jet planes fly? Jet planes fly at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Skyscrapers are very high buildings. How high are they? Some of them are about 200 meters high. Village streets are narrow. Large towns have wide streets and avenues. How wide is the main street in your town? How far did you walk last Saturday? We walked as far as the river. How long did you walk? We walked for 3 hours. We started off at 11 a.m. and we walked till 2 p.m.
Bill likes music. Charles likes dancing. They both like fun. Are both your parents Swiss? Yes, both my parents are Swiss. Yes, they both are. How many of the students attended the lecture? All of the students attended the lecture. All of them did. How many of your friends speak Japanese? None of our friends speak Japanese. None of them do. Which of your 2 sons knows Russian? Neither of them does. Both these dictionaries are useful. Which do you want? Either of them. Some of the oranges were sweet. All of the lemons were sour. None of the melons were ripe.
The anomalous finite could. The forms was and were able to.
I could. I was able to. He could lift heavy weights when he was younger. He was able to lift heavy weights when he was young. You could walk up the stairs when you weren't so old. You were able to walk up the stairs when you weren't so old. She could read the address without glasses. She was able to read without glasses when she was younger. When could you visit them? Could you visit them whenever you wanted? Could they go out whenever they liked? He was able to do arithmetic when he was only 4. We were able to understand their language in a short time. At what age were you able to talk? I was able to talk before I was 2. Was she able to see again after the operation? When were you able to walk again after the accident?
I could not. I couldn't. We couldn't take the car because it was out of order. He couldn't pay his bills last week because he had no money. You couldn't go on a picnic because it rained. They couldn't play in the garden unless they finished their homework. He wasn't able to. The mechanic wasn't able to repair our car. They weren't able to. They weren't able to finish their studies at the university. Could she clean up the house? Could she clean up the house before going away? Could we not? Couldn't we? Couldn't we apply for a scholarship? Couldn't you take the exams? Couldn't you take the exams without attending the lectures? The present perfect tense.
I have wasted my time today. I've wasted all my father's money. He has earned a great deal of money. He's earned a great deal of money these last years. She has already recovered. She's already recovered from her illness. You have interrupted us. You've already interrupted us twice. We have agreed to meet again. We've agreed to meet again tomorrow. They have traveled a lot. They've travelled all over the world. Haven't you dressed yet? Hasn't she phoned yet? They haven't visited us since Christmas. She hasn't practiced Italian since she was in Italy.
The present perfect continuous tense.
I've been living here since last January. They've been living in Mexico City since 1953. You've been resting since you arrived. The baby has been sleeping for 3 hours now. How long have you been waiting for us? We've been waiting for you all morning. Haven't they been waiting here long? No, they haven't. Hasn't he been practicing in the same hospital all the time? No, he hasn't.
Some expressions with ago, just, it's a long time since. He was here a minute ago. He has just arrived from Sweden. I finished my book an hour ago. I've just started reading a new one. When were you in Japan? We were in Japan long ago. When did you visit the United States? I visited the United States 2 years ago. It's a long time since I returned from Cuba. Is it a long time since he settled in Havana? It isn't a long time since he served in the army. How long is it since you were released from the Navy? Isn't it a long time since you graduated from Oxford? Yes, it is. The future and conditional tenses.
I shall have. I'll have. We'll have a new teacher this year. We'll study mathematics and geography every day. You will be. You'll be. You'll be ready soon. He will arrive at 4 p.m. He'll arrive from Edinburgh on Sunday. She'll meet him at the airport. I should like. I'd like. I'd like to see the receptionist, please. He would like some ice cream. She'd rather have some fruit. Would you mind closing the door, please? Not at all.
At the hotel. Paul arrives at the hotel. He speaks to the receptionist.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'd like a room for tonight.
Have you got a reservation?
Yes, I telegraphed on Wednesday.
What is the name, please?
Paul Miller.
Yes, we have a reservation for you, Mr. Miller.
I asked for an outside room with bath.
That's right. A single room with bath.
How much do you charge per night?
We charge £5 per night, breakfast included.
I'll take the room for 2 nights while I'm in Edinburgh.
All right. Will you sign the register, please? Thank you.
Is there a restaurant here where I can have lunch or dinner?
No, sir. We don't serve meals here. But there's a very good restaurant round the corner, where they serve very good meals at a very reasonable price.
Thank you. May I see the room now?
Yes, of course. Here's your key. Tom, show Mr. Miller to room 105.
Will you come this way, sir? We'll take the lift up to your room.
Is it very high up?
No, it's on the 3rd floor. Here we are. How do you like it?
I like it very much. It looks clean and comfortable.
I'm sure you'll be very comfortable here. I'll bring up your luggage right now. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Vocabulary. Furnished. Proud. Exercises. Lamp. Waste paper basket. Behind. Map. Calendar. Chest of drawers. Underclothes. Full. Between. Carpet. Rug. Beside. In front of. Armchairs. Upholstered. Dark. Leather. Alarm clock. To wake. Sheets. Blankets. Pillow. Bedspread. Mattress. Shower. Above. Wash basin. Looking glass. Medicine cabinet. Aspirins. Iodine. Adhesive tape. Bandages. Cotton wool. Toothbrush. Hairbrush. Comb. A tube of toothpaste. Soap. Towel rail. Listen and repeat series. The future tense, negative and interrogative negative forms. I shall not have any guests this evening. I shan't have any guests to dinner this evening. We shan't ask them to tea. We shan't ask them to tea till next Thursday. She will not come early tomorrow. She won't come earlier than usual. Will you go fishing this weekend? Yes, I shall. Will she accept my apology? Yes, she will. Shan't we go shooting tomorrow? No, we shan't. Won't he go to the bank this week? No, he won't. Future and conditional clauses with if and unless.
He will come if you call him. He won't come unless you call him. I shall succeed if I try again. I shan't succeed unless I try again. She'll be happier if you are kinder to her. She won't be happy unless you are kind to her. You would help him if he asked you to. You wouldn't help him unless he asked you to. We should be pleased if you succeeded. We shouldn't be pleased unless you succeeded. I'll come and see you if I have time. I'd come and see you if I had time. The roads will be wet if it rains. The roads would be wet if it rained. If they are at home, they'll answer the telephone. If they were at home, they'd answer the telephone. If I am ready when he arrives, he won't be angry. If I were ready when he arrived, he wouldn't be angry.
To have to and to be to, used to express obligation.
I have to go to the dressmaker's. I've also got to go to the hairdresser's. He has to go to the tailor's. Then he's got to go to the barber's. They have to sell their house. They've got to sell their house before the end of the year. We had to leave the town. We had to leave the town immediately. He had to work from morning till night. He had to work from morning till night every day. We shall have to stay at home. We'll have to stay at home if it snows. She will have to hire a taxi. She'll have to hire a taxi if she wants to get there on time. They are to show their driving licenses. All drivers are to show their licenses to the police.
Present and past prohibition. I'm not to mention this to anyone. I wasn't to mention that to anyone. He isn't to stay here during the daytime. He wasn't to stay there alone at night. They aren't to speak so loud. They weren't to speak so loud while the baby was asleep. No one is to go into that room. No one was to go into that room without permission. She doesn't have to wash the dishes now. She hasn't got to wash the clothes either. They don't have to learn the whole poem. They haven't got to learn the whole poem by heart. We shan't have to come early tomorrow. We shan't have to come earlier than usual. He won't have to give it back. He won't have to give it back to her.
I shan't need to go if I don't want to. You won't need to tell him your name unless he asks you to. We didn't need to get up before sunrise. They didn't need to be back before sunset. The simple past tense. Some irregular verbs.
Where did you go the day before yesterday? I went to the post office. When did they come to see you? They came to see us last week. Where did you see them? We saw them at the library. Where did he buy his writing material? He bought it at the stationer's. Did he find English difficult to pronounce? Yes, he found English rather difficult to pronounce at the beginning. Dorothy lost some weight while she was on a diet. How many kilos did she lose? She lost 3.5 kilos in 1 week.
I wrote to my friend in Australia. I didn't write to my friend in New Zealand. You taught history and literature at the university for 2 years. You didn't teach science and economics there. We gave our children fresh fruit for dessert yesterday. We didn't give them tinned fruit. They knew all the works of Shakespeare. They didn't know all the works of the 16th century writers. The cabinet maker made several pieces of furniture for us last year. He didn't make any new furniture for us this year. She read the news of the floods in the evening paper. She didn't read it in the morning paper. Our train left 5 minutes late yesterday. It didn't leave on time this morning either. He understood very little English a few months ago. He didn't understand much English when he first came here.
The present perfect tense. Some irregular verbs. We have taken the wrong bus. I think we've taken the wrong bus. They have gone to the cleaners. They've gone to the cleaners to collect their suits. John has bought a roll of film. He's bought a roll of film for his new camera. The shop assistant has sold her a reel of cotton. She's sold her a reel of cotton and some needles. We have known him for many years. We've known him since he was a little boy. I have not written to them. I haven't written to them since they left. He has not found their new address. He hasn't found their new address in the telephone directory. They have not given their consent. They haven't given their consent to the marriage. Has he made any progress? Has he made any progress these last months? Where has she lost it? Where has Diana lost her engagement ring? Haven't you seen the new play? Haven't you seen the new play at the local theatre? Some idiomatic phrases with so, the imperative, first and third persons.
Will it be fine tomorrow? I hope so. Will it rain on Sunday? I hope not. Do you think it will snow? Yes, I think so. No, I don't think so. Let me see. Let me see what you've written. Let him come at once. Let her do it again. Let's take a taxi. Let them go now.
Paul and Deborah meet James in the street.
Hello, James. How are you? I haven't seen you for a long time.
Hello, Paul. I'm all right, thanks. And how are things with you?
I'm getting along fine, thank you. Have you met my friend, Deborah?
No, I don't think I have.
Deborah, this is my friend, James Harrison.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Deborah has come to London to study at the university.
What are you going to study?
I'll study English language and literature. And I may also take a course in modern languages.
What foreign languages will you take?
I'll probably take French and Spanish. I learnt French at school.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Edinburgh.
Do you come from Edinburgh?
No, I come from Dublin, but I've lived in Edinburgh since I was 5.
And how long have you been in London?
I came here 2 weeks ago.
Then you haven't seen much of London yet.
No, I'm afraid I haven't. However, I hope I'll know London as well as any real Londoner by the time I finish my studies here.
Or even better, I should say.
That's quite true. One usually gets to know a foreign town, and even a foreign country, better than the locals.
By the way, have you ever visited the British Museum, James?
Of course I have. But perhaps Deborah hasn't had a chance to visit it yet.
No, I haven't, and I'd like to very much.
Well then, why don't we go together?
That's a good idea. Let's take a taxi.
Here comes one, and it's free. Taxi! Vocabulary. Industrial. Machines. Sorts. Steam. Electric power. In great numbers. saucers, cutlery, canning factories, the majority of, varied, to provide, vitamins, essential, proper nourishment, body, discovery, fat, energy, needed, bones, in addition, contains, textile industries, fabrics, wool, silk, linen, synthetic fibers, such as nylon, hosiery, tablecloths, napkins, woolen, warm, cool.
Listen and repeat series. The past perfect tense.
She thanked me for what I had done. By the time he left school, he had learnt Latin and Greek. After they had gone, I sat down and rested. We hurried to see him after we had learnt the news. It had already begun to rain when we reached the castle. The fire had spread to the next building before the firemen arrived. The sun hadn't set when we reached the camp. Hadn't the sun risen when you started off? Had you read Hamlet before you saw it on the stage? Didn't she ask you what countries you had visited?
The parts of the body, the senses. Human beings have 4 limbs. 2 arms and 2 legs. There are 4 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. There are 5 toes on each foot. We hold things with our hands. We touch things with our fingers. We stand on our feet. And we use our legs for walking or running. We have 2 ears, one on either side of the head. The eyes, the cheeks, the nose and the mouth are parts of the face. Above the eyes, there are the eyebrows. The 5 senses are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. The eyes are the organs of sight. We see with our eyes. The ears are the organs of hearing. We hear with our ears. The nose is the organ of smell.
We smell with our nose. We also breathe through our nose. The tongue and the palate are the organs of taste. We taste food with our tongue and palate. We smile or laugh with our lips. We chew food with our teeth. And we swallow it down the throat into our stomach. Revise your grammar and increase your vocabulary. The indefinite article.
Robert is a businessman. Dr. Webb is a surgeon. James is a journalist. Michael is an engineer. He is an actor. She is an actress. Spain is a European country. Peter is a university student. An ounce is a unit of weight. A typewriter is a useful machine. A poet writes poetry. Poets write poetry. An architect designs and builds houses. Architects design and build houses. An engineer designs roads, railways, and bridges. Engineers design roads, railways, and bridges. There is a statue in the park. There are some statues in the park. I saw some soldiers and sailors at the harbour. There were some liners and battleships in the harbour. There aren't any fish in the pond. There weren't any stars in the sky last night. Are there any jewels in that box? Haven't you any uncles or cousins in Norway?
Adjectives of quality. Qualifying nouns. Henry is a tall boy. He is tall. Ingrid is a Swedish girl. She is Swedish. John wore a leather jacket. Mary wore a silk blouse. He bought a straw hat. She bought a cotton dress. I have a gold watch. He has a silver chain. Direct and indirect speech. I want to study medicine.
John said he wanted to study medicine.
You can choose any hotel you like. They told me I could choose any hotel I liked. I'm going fishing with my brother-in-law.
He said that he was going fishing with his brother-in-law. My husband is having a siesta now.
Mrs. Brown said her husband was having a siesta then. When I woke up this morning, it was still dark.
He said that when he had woken up that morning, it was still dark. I lived there in my childhood.
She said she had lived there in her childhood. The double genitive.
A friend of mine has visited Moscow. An uncle of his has flown over the North Pole. An acquaintance of hers has been elected president. A colleague of ours has had a car accident. He is a good friend of theirs. The author of this book is a good friend of theirs. A brother of John's. A brother of John's is studying law at Oxford. A sister of Mike's. A sister of Mike's is studying to be a librarian. The latest book of Graham Greene's. Have you read the latest book of Graham Greene's?
Everyday actions. Paul is sitting at the table. He is about to eat his lunch. How does Paul eat his lunch? First, he takes the napkin and puts it on his lap. Then he takes his spoon and eats his soup. After the soup, he eats his salad, which consists of sliced up tomato and some lettuce. After that, he eats his meat and vegetables. He has a steak and some boiled potatoes and green peas. He puts butter on the potatoes and mustard on the meat. He cuts a piece of meat with his knife and eats it with his fork. For dessert, he has some grapes and a banana. Finally, he drinks a cup of coffee. He puts sugar in his coffee and he stirs the coffee with his spoon. Everyday dialogues in English. At the airline office. Mr. and Mrs. Brown are going to Paris by the end of the week. Today, Mr. Brown goes to the airline office to book the plane tickets. Good morning, sir. What can I do for you?
I'd like 2 tickets for Paris.
Single or return?
Return, please.
For what day?
We are planning to leave next Friday, early in the morning.
Let me see. Friday will be the 21st of April. I'm sorry, but the 7 o'clock plane, which is the earliest flight to Paris, is already booked up. Would it suit you to leave by the 11:30 plane?
Well, you see, I'm going on a business trip, and I need to be there not later than 10 o'clock in the morning, as I have a meeting at 10:30.
I see. What about Thursday? There are 4 flights to Paris on Thursday. The last one leaves London Airport at 8:45 p.m., and I have just 2 seats available for that.
Yes, that would suit me better.
Would you like an open-date ticket, or will you book your return as well?
I'd rather leave it open, as I don't know exactly how long we are going to stay in Paris.
All right. May I see your passports, please?
Here they are. How much will the 2 return tickets be?
There will be £30 altogether. That is to say, £15 each.
Is the bus fare to and from the airport included in this price?
No, it isn't. You either get the tickets at the terminal station or buy them when you get on the bus.
Thank you very much. Will you send the tickets to my office, or shall I come and collect them myself?
Won't you take them with you right now? It won't take me long to get them ready, if you don't mind waiting a while.
That's all right. I can wait.
Well, here are your tickets. You leave London Airport at 8:45 p.m., Greenwich Mean Time, on flight number 210, which is due in Paris at about 9:45. I've left the return open, but be sure to book your seats a few days in advance, as it is sometimes rather difficult to get a reservation.
I'll book our return as soon as I know when we are coming back. Do you accept checks? I'm afraid I haven't any cash on me.
Either cash or cheque will do, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Here's a cheque for £30. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a nice trip. Vocabulary. Transported. Distances. Quickly. Means. Motor cars. Buses. Carried. Nowadays. Newest. Railway lines. Slower. Freighters. Express. Steamship line. Used. Seaport. Pleasure cruise. Floating cities. Every convenience. Air conditioning. Cabins. Swimming pools. Sports decks. Military. Commercial. Reconnaissance. Troops. Offer. Services. Airliners. Higher. Speeds. Pressurized. Air-conditioned. Almost. Vice versa.